Uh-oh.
All right. So, what's your sticking point?
I don't approach much.
No approaches. All right.
I actually did start to approach though. A couple weeks back, I went to Louisiana for a week and went to a club.
Mhm.
And I approached. I talked for like a couple minutes on one thing, and then right after that died, I was just like, "Shit, what do I say now?" And just walked away.
Okay. I think the first thing I'm going to talk about is gambits. Have you heard that term?
Yeah,
All right.
not in a long time though.
What comes to mind when you hear the word gambit?
Is that threading stories or?
No. That's what comes to mind? All right. So a gambit is something that you do that is particularly designed, contrived, and the purpose of it is to get a particular emotion from whoever you're talking to, all right? So a gambit is designed to elicit emotion. Right? Now, when you're meeting somebody for the first time, what emotions do you think would be helpful for that person to have to make that interaction go smooth?
Them having fun, laughing.
All right? Fun. What else? Anything else?
Comfort.
Comfort. Anything else? Fun and comfort. All right. So if you wanted to make somebody else have fun, how would you do it?
Probably get them laughing with something that they can relate to.
Okay. And if you want to make somebody laugh, how would you do it?
I'm not too sure on that one.
Not sure.
A witty observation.
You make a witty observation. All right. All right. And if you want to make somebody feel comfortable, how would you do it?
Not intrude on their personal space, be more relaxive rather than intrusive kind of.
All right. You give them their space. And be relaxed. All right. So, all right, this is what you say. I think when you meet somebody, it's always good to make them smile. If you make them smile, I think half your work is done. All right?
Right.
Because if they're not smiling, they're either like have a blank face or they're upset. So you definitely want, you can't really meet people who are upset.
Yeah.
So I would say smile. I want the other person to smile, which is making them happy. I want somebody in a happy, positive, state when I meet them. Because if they're not, then all those negative emotions are going to be transferred to me, and god dang, it's going to be hard, So, the purpose of a gambit is, to do something to make this person feel this emotion or this emotion or this emotion. Smiling is the easy one. So, if you want to make somebody smile, perfect stranger, never talked to them before, never seen them before, how would you do it?
Start off by smiling first.
All right. And that would be your smile. All right. Let's say you couldn't smile at them. What would you do then?
Have to be something witty, like she said.
All right. You would say something witty. All right. All right. Now, if you couldn't do that, if you couldn't do either one, then what? What would be your last resort?
I don't know, comes to my mind.
Blank. Out of all the things in this world you can do, you can't think of one more?
Make a joke.
Alright.
Although that kind of falls in with witty.
Alright. I'll add one. Sincere compliment. Right? So we have here 4 ways to make somebody smile. Now I'll ask you, do you think one of these ways will work better than another?
Probably the witty comment or the sincere compliment.
Okay. So we'll say these are A. Alright, what would be next best?
Well, the smile would be first. I mean,
Oh, you want the smile first?
yeah, I want that
Alright,
first.
alright, now look. You realize I can't erase with this thing, right?
You can turn the A into a B kind of.
Alright, what do you want to be B, what do you want to be C, and what do you want to be D? Now you guys have to agree here.
I don't really like the joke or sincere compliment.
Alright,
So I'd probably just go with smile and witty comment.
alright. Smile and witty comment, what'd you say?
Same thing.
Smile and witty comment. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna ask you to prove it. Make me smile.
You already smile.
I know, it's terrible. Hold on, wait. Let me. Alright, you win. Your smile made me smile. Alright. Witty compliment. Witty comment, that's yours.
You're already smiling.
So what? Alright then, fine. But what I find is if you're meeting a stranger, smiling at somebody does work. It's just a polite thing to do. It's kind of like a social norm. If somebody smiles at you, you smile back. But it really doesn't lead you to any kind of meaningful interaction, right? You can smile at somebody, they smile back, and you keep going your separate ways.
Right.
But a witty comment, that might actually get their attention. And they might pause and say, oh, blah, 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 have a little bit of conversation, right?
Right.
And then you can take that and turn that into something bigger. A joke, a joke is harder because it takes time to set the joke up. You have to already have their attention. You just can't be kind of walking by and then have that joke. I mean, they're going this way, you're going that way.
Yeah.
Unless it's something really quick and really funny, it's not really gonna have enough time to work. And one that I have people do a lot is a sincere compliment. Now, just with a joke, it's the kind of thing that somebody might pass you. You can give it, and then they'll just go on their way. A sincere compliment would be like, whatever you notice about the female that has you attracted to her, you would just give her a compliment on that. You know what? I like the way you walk. Right? Gets a compliment, smiles, keeps walking. Now, how do you turn that into something bigger? Well, what you need to do is throw in a conjunction. A conjunction is a statement like but. All right? I like the way you walk, but now, with that one word but, they know it's something else to follow, and now they're interested. Of course, you made them smile, good emotions. Well, what else this guy got to say? All right? So, sincere compliment into but, conjunction. And then, because we want to have an interaction that's actually turns into something, you want to, so sincere compliment, the but, and then what comes next is what holds their attention, an attention-holding statement. Or a conversation starter. I like the way you walk, but I don't know if you like Kung Fu movies. Whatever, it can be anything.
Right.
And how they're going to reply, right? No, I don't like Kung Fu movies. What the hell? What do you think I am? But that's just the structure for you to use with a sincere compliment that turns it into something more than just an offhanded comment that someone forgets about. With the conjunction but, which is the main thing you really need to realize. You turn it into a chance for someone to have a dialogue and also take interest in what you're saying. Hello. How you doing? All right, great. Come on, man. We're waiting on you. I'll save the good stuff until you get here. All right, see you. All right. Car got fixed.
Wow.
Hmm?
He said, wow.
Yeah. Actually, what we'll do, let's take a break. Because I don't want to have to go over everything again. All right, take two. I'm going to start different. All right. So you guys are all familiar with, mystery method, juggler method, RSD's stuff, and everybody. But everybody has their own model. Basically, a model of how the world works and how people work and how social dynamics work, so on and so forth. And this is my model, right? And feel free to agree with it or disagree with it. My model is called Train of Thought, and it's basically about how the mind works, right? Because anybody you talk to, hopefully you're going to have a mind, right? Maybe not always. So pretty much the way I think the mind works is that, say for example, you're sitting at home and you got a job interview coming up. And you're like, well, I should probably get prepared for this job interview. Let me go to the mall and buy some pants. I need nice pants for a job interview, It's just right, get some new pants. So you're thinking about these things. You get in your mind pants. You get in mind your store. You want to get them from, let's just say, a Macy's. So do they sell men's clothing? They do, right? All right, Macy's. So you get in your car, you go to the mall, and you get out of the car, and you're going, you got this thought in your mind of these pants. You already know what kind you want. Perfect pants, going in there. But as you're on the way, you look and you see a guy having a heart attack. Holy smokes, I gotta go help this guy, man. He could die, this is serious. So you go and you help the guy having a heart attack, and you get so caught up in this whole event, this emotionally charged event, that you just completely forget about your pants. This is the task at hand, and you get caught up and wrapped up, and you wind up going with this guy to the hospital, and you come back home, and you're telling your friends, wow, I was just going to the mall, and this guy had a heart attack, and it's this whole big thing. And you might be thinking about this because it's that serious for a couple of days, and it might just, overtake your train of thought. But eventually, once that lull goes down, once that fades away, so to speak, you're going to remember, damn, I got a job interview in 2 days. I still need to go get my pants, right? Has that ever happened to you guys? Something like that?
Sure.
Exactly. So, in this example, your train of thought initially was buying pants for your job interview, right? Right? That's your train of thought. From here to there. But what happened? Right here, something threw off your train of thought, right? It was an emotionally charged event. So, you're here at home, get to the mall, close to the store. Oh, somebody's having a heart attack. Now you're going with this train of thought all the way to its conclusion, right? And now that this is done, come back to this, right? That's how it works. Now, what does this mean for us? I mean, we want to meet people, right? I particularly like, I enjoy day game. This applies to night game too, because people, you know, I believe always have different things in their mind that they want to get done. I don't think people really walk around just saying, oh, well, I just want to kind of just see what happens. They always have some general idea. I mean, people do say, I want to walk around and see what happens, but that is the idea in their mind, so whatever. Right here, in terms of interactions, let's change this a little bit. Let's say this is a female shopping in the daytime, right? Going there, she might just be looking, she might be browsing. Or in a nightclub situation, this could be a girl out to have fun. Many girls go out just to have fun, or at least that's what they report. And this is us. We are PUAs. Right? That's us, right? We're badasses, pickup artists. Yeah, we're gonna get somebody. So we go out, we leave the house, and we want to meet somebody. And this is a girl, she wants to have fun.
Those two things aren't necessarily in conflict, by the way.
Exactly. But everybody has a certain idea. These words are attributed to some ideas in people's heads, and sometimes they match up, sometimes they don't. So what's the task at hand? Let's say we're in a mall, and the girl wants to have fun / shop. That's her train of thought. She's looking for clothes, purses, handbags, shoes, you know, hair stuff, whatever. We're looking to meet her, right? So one of three things can happen. When your paths cross, this here is the defining moment, all right? What can happen? She can come, meet you, and go on your train of thought. You say some interesting things. Hey, who do you think lies more, men or women? And she completely forgets about what the heck she was doing. She doesn't want to shop anymore, right? Or, you know, you can kind of do this kind of thing where, let's see, that happens. You see the hot girl, you're like, approach anxiety, go your separate ways. No interaction. Nothing happens. Never had a chance. Dead in the water. Alright? Or this kind of thing can happen. Where, you know, pickup artist coming along, sees a high HB, and you go along with her train of thought. Right? And you start shopping. Now, there's probably another scenario, but I can't think of it. So we'll just say it's 3. 1, 2, 3. This is what, you know, this down here, this is seduction, right? This is what we want. See the girl, meet her, da-da-da-da, some magic happens, and we go have sex with her, right? More or less. More often not. But that's the ideal, right? This also happens a lot in the beginning. See the girl. No. But people don't think about this up here, right? And excuse me for a second. Hey, I gotta call you back. I'm teaching the seminar right now. All right, bye. People don't think about this because everybody's so focused on this. I want things to go my way. But if for a moment you go along with somebody else's train of thought, it's a lot less resistance, right? Because to get them to come to your train of thought, you know, you really have to have an emotionally charged event. You know, as powerful as somebody having a heart attack. Maybe not that powerful, but it really has to catch them. Because this is important to them. They left the house for this. Go ahead.
So is what you're saying, then you meet somebody and then they're like, well, you know, I'm just here, I'm having fun, I'm shopping, I'm getting some pants or whatever, and then you're like, oh, well, that's pretty interesting, and you're going along with that.
Exactly. Well, what I was going to get to is that the whole thing here is that you want to have enough time to display the positive aspects of your personality, therefore to cause attraction, right?
Yeah.
Then you can go ahead and get into comfort and then hopefully lead to seduction. But you can do that in either scenario, right? All you need is the timeline. You need the time to display your personality.
Hell yeah.
So it doesn't matter if she's getting on your train of thought or you're getting on hers. As long as you guys are walking together, boom, 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 having a conversation, you're displaying the positive aspects of your personality, and she is accurately perceiving that information, there's no problem. So this and this is equally as good. But the thing is, what's going to happen as you go onto her train of thought? Let's say she's going to the food court to get some ice cream, and hey, can I go with you? Yeah, sure. And you start talking. Guess what? The more you talk, it's going to swap. It's going to swap, because eventually, who's ever the one giving out the more information, most information, the person is listening. So you become the leader. So boom, it flipped. All right? It's a very subtle change that most people don't even notice. So this becomes that, and that kind of becomes that. But it doesn't really matter. It's just the thing that matters is you need time to display your personality. That's all. This just helps you understand why this happens, and why this happens. Because if you're so focused on this, you miss out all the opportunities where you could have went along with her train of thought. And, you know, this, of course, is bad. You miss out on everything in that case. But the flip side of this is that a lot of times guys wonder how come that approach didn't work, and you beat yourself up, you beat yourself up, you beat yourself up. Oh, I must have done something wrong, blah, 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 blah. Well, what you fail to realize, say, for example, you meet a girl sitting down in a park or somewhere on a beach, and she's, you know, drawing a painting or something, and you come over there with your opener, hey, how you doing? Can I sit down, blah, 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 have a conversation with you? She's like, no. Damn, blown out. And you go walk away, head down, and like, well, damn, I messed that up. That's terrible. What you didn't know is that young lady was actually finishing a project that's due in the next hour for her final, right?
Right.
A very dominant train of thought.
Would have been
right?
really useful to find out what she's doing.
Well, maybe, maybe not. But the useful thing is that, remember, train of thought. People are going to accomplish their objectives, right? And train of thoughts, some are weak. If I'm just out in the park to enjoy the day, then yeah, okay, I'll go along with it. What's going on, man? Hey, I'm just checking out things. I'm not really that busy. But if I have a deadline or something's going on in my life that's very important, you're not going to be able to interrupt that train of thought, right? So it's not always you. It's what's going on in that person's life. You have to understand what's going on with a person within the context of their life. And many people don't think about things in that way, right? So let's take that scenario, same scenario. You come back an hour later, you know, 2 hours later after you've built your confidence back up, you see that same girl sitting, exact same thing, drawing a picture. You go up to her, hey, how you doing? Can I have a conversation, blah, blah, blah? Can I sit down? And so on and so forth. And she's like, yeah, sure. Now what's different? The fact that she's already turned in her drawing for class, and now she's done for the semester, and she's just drawing because she wants to, right? Completely different response. Why? Because of what's going on in her life, right?
Yeah, that's true. That reminds me of like times I haven't been able to close, and then like later I found out the girl's like, well, my legs weren't shaved, and I was feeling bad about that, or I was on my period or something.
Exactly.
I didn't find out until like 2 months later, and then, you know, I felt, geez, was my game bad? Did I do something wrong?
Exactly. Beating yourself
And it
up.
turns out all just some personal thing with her.
All right. Here's another one for you. All right, here's the next idea. Mind file system, right? Everybody knows computers, Windows, and this, they have operating systems, file systems. Well, I propose to you the idea that so do we, right? We deal with a lot of data, so we must have some way of organizing it, right? All right, so, and you're probably like this quite a lot since you know NLP and everything. But for everybody else, if I say to you, imagine an orange, right? You got a picture of an orange in your head, right? Can you describe it for me?
It's orange.
All right. What else?
It's round.
All right.
tasty.
All right.
It's got a outer shell that I don't like to eat. Outer skin, not shell.
We can call it a shell.
And what else? Anything else?
It's
No?
also used to make orange juice.
All right. Now if I say to you, imagine an apple. Got it? Better yet, if I say to you, imagine an apple. Got it in your mind? Can you describe it for me?
It's green,
Green. What else?
round,
Round. What else?
has a stem.
Anything else?
There's spots on it.
Okay. Anything else?
It's small. That's about it.
All right. Now let's just carry this example a little bit further. If I say to you, describe an orange for me.
It's got like a strong citrus kind of smell to it. It's got a bumpy texture on the outside, and it's orange colored. That's pretty much captures an orange to me, at least until I bust it open and eat it.
All right. An apple.
Waxy texture, it's red, kind of round, it has a stem. And it's a little bit soft.
All right. So, different people describe their own apples and oranges. Do we see any commonalities? Yeah. Do we see any differences? Yeah, I see a big one. Said it's green. She said it's red. Now what the hell? I'm trying to figure out what an apple looks like over here. I've never seen one before. Is it green or is it red? Which one is it, right? So this just goes to show that in our minds we each make pictures of whatever it is. This was a top-down example of the mind file system. I gave you an item, you listed the attributes, right? Now we can do this in reverse and say, let's say if someone was passing by, we could say, hey, this is about fruit, I'm gonna describe a fruit, I'm gonna describe the attributes, and you try to tell me what fruit this is, right? And we say, it's red, it has a waxy texture, it's kind of round, it has a stem, it's a little soft. Sometimes it's, it's not that big, it's small, and it has spots on it sometimes, It might be green too. What piece of fruit do you think this is? Do you think they would say an apple?
Maybe.
Maybe, maybe not, right? Because the things we listed may or may not be able to accurately call out that picture in their mind. But if we did this one, I think they would get it. This is the fruit. It has a citrus smell, bumpy texture, it's orange colored, it's round, it's tasty. You think they would be able to figure out an orange?
Yeah.
Yeah, because with an orange, the main descriptor of an orange, its color, is actually its name. It's very easy if you throw that one in, right? But, mind file system. So the mind file system works in two ways. You have thing, then you have its attributes. Right? So if I call out the thing, and then in the person's mind, the attributes of it come up. That's from the top down. And if I give you these attributes and you come up with that thing, that's from the bottom up, right? And this is how the mind works. This is how we perceive the world, right? Now, what the heck good is this in terms of pickup, right? How can this help me? You talk about apples and oranges here, man. God, I'm trying to pick up women. All right. So the way that this helps us is that, remember we talked about theory of perception and train of thought. Train of thought, actually. People are looking for certain things, right? So if she is looking for an attractive man, in her mind, she has different attributes that are already there, right? So if you want her to realize you as an attractive man, get those attributes, right? But the flip side of this is that when you're talking to people, when you're meeting with people, the way I like to use this is I'll give somebody a nickname, right? I'll call out the unknown, a question mark. Like if I say, that's why people don't like made up words, because a made up word doesn't make any sense because you don't have anything associated with it, right? But we can use this to our advantage because we understand this is how the mind operates. I can make up something. What do I want to make up? Let's say I make up a new device. The name of this device is, somebody make up a name. Combine two words to make up a name.
The Comblat.
What?
Blat. B-L-A-T.
All right. Now, we're going to create something, and only the people here in this room are going to know what it is. A Comblat. A Comblat is sexy. A Comblat is red. And a Comblat is expensive. Right? This is complete nonsense. If somebody came in here, they'd be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And just to make this thing concrete, this is a Comblat. Right?
Okay.
Comblat. Right there. So, if someone came in here and I said, hey, I'll give you $1 million if you go find a Comblat. There's a Comblat here in this room. Go find it. Never gonna get it, right? Because in our minds, we gave it a name, gave it attributes, and we even said, look, everybody see, this is it. It's right there. So we would know what it is, right? But how does this work in terms of seduction and pickup, right? Everybody has names, right? When I meet people, hey, how you doing? My name's Brian. Sometimes the girl might say, oh, you know what? My brother's name is Brian. That is bad. That is very bad. Based on what I've just said, who can tell me why that's bad? Yes?
Because it will make, when that person thinks of your name, they think of the brother and not you.
Exactly. I get all these associations from that other person that's not me. Now that can play out good or bad. But I have no control over it. So to me that's bad, right? Because they might have met somebody with the same name of Brian that they didn't like very much in high school and tormented them all through their life. Well, goddamn, they're associating me with that. Terrible. So what I might do, oh, you know somebody named Brian? Well, my name is Brian Fox, right? First and last name. Yes, I have the negative associations here, but I got good associations here. You know anybody famous with the last name Fox? Can you think of anybody?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx? Did everybody say Jamie Foxx?
Yeah. There's
Exactly.
Fox too.
Vivica Fox, right? The last name Fox, I picked this on purpose. It's number one, it sounds cool, and it's nothing but positive associations. Can you think of anybody who's like a criminal with the last name Fox? I can't. So, in their mind, they link Brian with whoever they know, they link Fox with whoever they know, but the cards are already stacked in my favor because I know what is the dominant thought when Fox is mentioned, right? Of course, a little furry animal comes up too, you know, but not as much as the people, because it's a first and last name. So I get positive associations from this, right? I might get negative associations from this, but since this is a new creation in their mind, unless they know somebody, Brian Fox, there's a bunch of question marks here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, guess what? I get to fill in the blanks. I do. And that is what conveying your personality is about, right? It's about boom, 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 boom. And the attraction switches from Mystery Method, they say are leader of men, protector of loved ones, willingness to emote, and some more of them. I forget, I can never remember them all. But I can put in here stories that say I'm the leader of men. What story can I tell about that? Well, you know, on the weekends, you know, I do, public speaking, right? It's true, from my real life. Protector of loved ones. Tell a story about, you know, my cousin, he was riding, actually, this is the one I like. You know, yeah, I moved here from Michigan. I, you know, just got my own place, but for a while I was living with my cousin and his family, and he has a 4-year-old. And it was the weirdest thing. He'd always tell me, when you're in the bathroom, make sure you turn the hot water to cold. Because when Jalen comes in there, he just turns it on and he's gonna burn his hands. That's the hottest place in the house because the boiler's right under there. And you know, I would always forget. But what actually wound up happening is one day, I was walking by and Jalen was in there using the bathroom. He's like, oh, the water's hot. Oh shit, I forgot. I forgot to freaking turn it to cold. But guess what? After I saw him, you know, say the water's hot, I never made that mistake again. I always made sure I turned that water to cold, right? Protect your loved ones. From my real life, right? Willingness to emote.
I like
And-
that story, by the way.
Yeah, I like it too. I forgot about that for a while. I'm gonna use that more. And you have a story like that too, the Big Brother story you told me before.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm always protecting my little sister.
Yeah. Willingness to emote, that could be anything of you showing emotions. One I really like is the one I tell where I almost died, pretty much. Driving down in Michigan, snowy, whiteout conditions, couldn't see the road, and wound up going over the side. And I had that profound moment like, you know what? If you don't actively live to pursue your goals, then who will? Of course, I stretch it out. I just gave you the line dry items, right? I turn this into an emotionally charged story. I'll tell it exactly how I do. I was, you know, out hanging out in Ann Arbor. It's 45 minutes from Detroit, where I live, with some friends of mine, and you know, we got to the Club Necto, and we're going in. It's just snowing a little bit, and we go in, we have our fun, so on and so forth. When we come out, man, snow. It's like 2 or 3 inches of snow, and I'm thinking, wow, man, I should probably spend the night with some of my friends here in Ann Arbor, but I don't really want to sleep on the couch. I want to sleep in my own bed, man. And one of my buddies said, hey, you want to go to the restaurant down here? It's open. We can get some food. And I'm like, hey, what the heck? I'm hungry. Let's go. And they're waiting on the food. They're crowded, and it's still snowing. It's coming down this whole time. I get out, and it's like terrible, man. I see a car. He can barely stop at the stop sign. But I'm like, whatever, man. I'm going to go on home. Get in my car, start driving. Like, you know, I like to speed. So I just decided that wasn't a good idea today. So I don't go like 70 or whatever. I go like 60, 50-ish, still way too fast for the condition. And I'm on my way home, trying to see windshield wipers are going, and it's like snow's blowing everywhere. And I'm driving down the road, and it's happened so suddenly when you come on whiteout conditions, because it's like you can see and you're trying to discern the road, and then you think you're still making out, but you're not. And you know how they have those grooves in the road that when you roll over them, it makes that sound. So I'm driving, I hear on the left side. Let me get back to the center of the road. And I'm like, all right, good for about 5 seconds. I hear on the right side. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Let me get back to the center of the road. Turn my wheel, and the car spins out. Right over into the ditch. Now, I'm in the ditch, and I'm thinking, God damn, I'm that guy you see in the ditch on the side of the road. How the hell did that happen? And, you know, I realized that I could have really, if this had been a different landscape, you know, I could have been seriously hurt. I could have fell over, rolled a couple times, blah, 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 and been out of here. But luckily for me, you know, I wasn't really hurt and my car wasn't hurt, so I walked away unscathed. But, you know, that just for me made me realize so many things about life, how fragile life is, you know. Here I am having a good time with my friends. The next, I'm in an accident. It wasn't serious, I walked away, but it could have been a lot worse. So in that moment, I realized that if you don't actively live your life and pursue your goals, who will? Who's going to get that done? It's up to you to do that, right? One is too much. You know, it's an emotionally traumatic story. You know, it's like a guy having a heart attack, right? Because really, for me, it was that severe. It's like, holy shit, what the hell is going on here? You know, let me wake up out of the stupor of life that I've been living. So, back to this. Mind file system. Brian Fox, this name, not my real last name, but it's cool. I like it. This is my avatar. I use the avatar to help me accomplish my goals. Since I know people have train of thought, since I know how the mind works, or at least this is how I presume, I have to, you know, responsibly, if I want to accomplish my goals, knowing these things, I have to create methods that take advantage of this, right? So, Brian Fox, first and last name, positive association, fill in, display my personality over a specific timeline, like we just saw. And that is really, I think, it boils down to those few things. How you do it, there's lots of different literature to tell you little different ways how to do this, do that, and fit it all into one nice complete package. But I think if you have those two things, most of the work is done. Now, one other thing I will throw in is that everybody has a name, right? And this is kind of going into creating an avatar, but it's still on the mind file system. Everybody has a name, a first and last name. It's given to them. And as you grow up, you're socialized to be a certain person, right? And, you know, throughout your life, you learn who you are. You're defined by your parents, you're defined by your society, you're defined by your job, you're defined by your education, you're defined by where you live, right? All that is summed up in your name, right? If I call you by your name, boom, all these things come to play, right? That's why people act like themselves from one day to the next, because of, you know, they have this history of who they are, right? But let's say you want to change who you are. You want to become a pickup artist. You want to become a better person. You want to become someone who can attain to the goals that you set for yourself. Well, the first thing I would say to you, change your name. Change that conception of who you think you are, because all these things limit you. Your family's perception of you, your friends' perception of you, they place limits on you. They tell you who you are, right? So if you create a new identity, right, that gives you the power to define who you are, right? It's a lot more powerful than saying, like, this character, Brian Fox. Who is Brian Fox? I created a character. Brian Fox is a rock star promoter, right? And this character, this avatar has goals, attributes, different things that he has to do.
Do you feel that the character you've created of Brian Fox is congruent to you? Who you are?
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, Brian Fox is whoever I want to be, right?
Gotcha.
Brian Fox is Brian Fox to me represents the best me I can be. Brian Fox is the best in humanity, right? Got that from Matador. So, what's the question again? How did you phrase it?
I said, do you feel that the character of Brian Fox is congruent to you? I mean, if I hang around you for 8 months, a year and a half, am I going to see Brian Fox? Is that congruent?
Yes and no. You're going to see Brian Obot and you're going to see Brian Fox. Depends on where you're at. Depends on who I want to be, right? Because Brian Obot has different goals and objectives than Brian Fox, right? Brian Obot, you know, he has to be his mother's son. He has to be, he has to do chores for his cousin, you know. Brian Fox doesn't have to do any of that shit. He doesn't care. It's true. But, I mean, it's, because what this is, Brian Fox is a ego